धनु संपदा गौरांगेरा दुटी पदा जारि धनु संपदा से जाने भव कति रसुसा से जानु भक्ति रसुसा गौरांगे मधुर लीला जारि कर्ण प्रवेशिला गौरांगे मधुर लीला जारि कर्ण प्रवेशिला हृदय निर्मलोभिलुता हृदय निर्मलोभिलुता ये गौरांगी नामलया तारे হয় প্রেম জয় যে গৌরাঙ্গী নাম লয়া তারে হয় প্রেম জয় তারে মই যাই বলিহারি গৌরাঙ্গীর গুণীতে ধরে নিত্য লীলা তারি স্ফুরে গৌরাঙ্গীর গুণীতে ধরে নিত্য লীলা তারি স্ফুরে সৃজন ভক্তি অধিকারী সৃজন ভক্তি অধিকারী गौरांगेर संगी गाने नित्य सिद्ध करी माने गौरांगेर संगी गाने नित्य सिद्ध करी माने श्री जाई ब्रजेंद्र सुतपा श्री जाई ब्रजेंद्र सुतपा श्री गौर मंडल भूमि जेवा जाने चिंतामणि श्री गौर मंडल भूमि जेवा जाने चिंतामणि तारी होय ब्रज भूमिवा तारी होय ब्रज भूमिवा गौर प्रेमी रसाणवे सीतरंग जेवा जुबे गौर प्रेमी रसाणवे सीतरंग जीवा जुबे श्री राधा माधव अंतरंग श्री राधा माधव अंतरंग गृहे वावनिते थाके हा गौरांग बोले जाके गृहे वावनिते थाके हा गौरांग बोले जाके नरोत्तम मांगे तारु संग नरोत्तम मांगे तारु संग Gaurangera duti pada jari dhana sampada srijani bhakti rasusar Gaurange madhura lila jari karna pravishila Gaurangera madhura lila jari karna pravishila Rudo nirmalo vinuta Rudo nirmalo vinuta Jaya Gauranita 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 Jaya Gauranita 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 Jaya Gauranita Jai Panchatattva 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 Jaya Panchatattva Jai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Gurudeva 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 Jaya Gurudeva Sai Gaur Haribo 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 Jam Vishnupada Paramhans Prabhajikacharya Studushal Shri Srimad Krishna Kripa Murti Sri Bhaktivan Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ant Kodi Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai Naam Acharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Nath Radha Kund Sham Kund Giri Govardhan Brajbhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sinodip Mahaprabhu Dham Ki Jai जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय भक्ति देव तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय कलयुग पावन अवतार श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय श्री श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय विधाय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada.
Shall we read the translation, Prabhu?
Yeah, please, yes.
Could you kindly scroll it down? Yeah. Any devotees willing to read it out?
I can, Prabhuji, if you want.
Yeah, please.
Shall I read the whole translation, Prabhuji, or just few?
Yeah, whole place.
Okay. Translation. Anyone who has accepted the two lotus feet of Lord Caitanya can understand the true essence of devotional service. If one is captivated by the pleasing pastimes of Lord Caitanya, the dirty things in his heart will all become cleansed. One who simply takes the holy name of Gaur Sundara, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, will immediately develop love of God. To such a person, I say, bravo, very nice, excellent. If one appreciates the merciful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and feels ecstasy and sometimes cries, this process will immediately help him to understand the eternal pastimes of Radha Krishna. Simply by understanding that the associates of Lord Gauranga are eternally free from material contamination, one can immediately be promoted to the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna. If one simply understands that the land of Navdvip is not different from Vrindavan, then he actually lives in Vrindavan. If one says, let me dive deep into the waves of the nectarian ocean of the transcendental loving movement introduced by Lord Chaitanya, he immediately becomes one of the confidential devotees of Radha and Krishna. It does not matter whether one is a householder living at home or a vanasprat or sannyasi living in the forest. If he chants, O Gauranga, and becomes a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, then Narottam Das begs to have his association. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
What a wonderful translation. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for choosing that wonderful bhajan.
Thank you, Prabhu. And thank you, Mataji, for reading out so nicely. So we'll just chant Mangalachan prayers and then begin our narrations, hearing and chanting of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Om Jnani Timrandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ene Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadkamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagrahunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvita Vansha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesh Gopika Kanto Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapti Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwahanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalptaru Bhayasya Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Guru Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Ajanulambit bhujau kanikavadato Sankirtane kapitaro Kamalayitaksho Vishwambharo Dujivaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagatyakaro Karunavantaro Vande Jagatpriyakaro Karunavantaro. Hare Krishna. So it's such a joyous moment to be able to hear and chant Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami makes a point that impossible becomes possible if we have the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And possible becomes impossible if we don't have the mercy, or if we lack the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu's mercy is overflowing. This is his movement, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared only 500 years ago. So today we're going to take the opportunity to hear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes of traveling to South India. Earlier on, we sang this song, Gaurangera Duti Pada, Jara Dhana Sampada, Sejana Bhakati Rasasar. So Gaurangera Duti Pada, those two lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jara Dhana Sampada. So anyone who makes The lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as their only possession. Jara Dhana Sampada. So as their only possession, what happens? Sejana Bhakti Rasa Sahara. So such fortunate devotees, they can understand the secrets of devotional service. That is the wonderful characteristics of becoming attached to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now the second stanza is very pertinent to the discussions today. Gaurangera Madhura Leela Jara Karunas Praveshula. So anyone who hears the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Sejana Bhakti Rasa Sahara. Yes, so they can understand the essence of devotional service. Hearing Mahaprabhu's pastimes is all auspicious. Just like hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is all auspicious. Similarly, hearing Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat or Chaitanya Charitamrita is all auspicious. Because Krishna is all auspicious and Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, therefore his narrations are also all auspicious. So now we start from Jagannath Puri. In this Rath Yatra season, we are going to go to Jagannath Puri mentally. So Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas in the month of January, February, Chaitra, Vaishak, and then he has moved to Jagannath Puri at the request of Sachimata. Mahaprabhu met Sachimata at the house of Advaitacharya Prabhu, offered his obeisances and said, Mother, this body belongs to you. Although I have taken sannyas, but I will follow whatever order you give me. Then Sachimata thought for a moment, and then she said, my dear son, you are sannyasis, you have to follow the course of sannyasi, but I request you to make Jagannath Puri as your headquarters, so that I can get some news about how you're doing. Mahaprabhu accepted this request, and he made Jagannath Puri as his headquarters. So now before that, Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan just after his sannyas. But Sri Nityananda Prabhu somehow led him to go to Shantipur. So now Mahaprabhu is in Jagannath Puri. And when he came, immediately the Lord manifested his transcendental glories. How? First of all, bestowing his mercy on the greatest logician and Mayavadi of the times, Sri Vasudeva Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So this incident is very, very significant, that the great logician, an advisor to the king, King Prataprudra in Jagannath Puri, and the guru of so many scholars of that time, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, became a devotee of Mahaprabhu. So later on we will hear some narrations how attached Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in preparation to South India, Mahaprabhu approached his devotees. Now, before we move on to actual narrations, let us just read a couple of verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, our discussions are based on chapter 7 today, and the chapter begins with a verse which demonstrates Mahaprabhu's mercy on a devotee in South India called Vasudeva Datta. Let us read the verse. Dhanyam tam nom mi chaitanyam Vasudevam dayadridhi Nasta kushtam rupa pushtam Bhakti tushtam chakarya. Okay, so the verse is here, which is very nice. Thank you, Puran Prabhu. It's such a beautiful verse. So I'm just going to read the translation. Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, being very compassionate toward a Brahman named Vasudeva, cured him of leprosy. He transformed him into a beautiful man, satisfied with devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the glorious Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is how this chapter begins. Praising Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Daya Adridhi, being compassionate. So Mahaprabhu is Daya Adridhi. Daya Adridhi. Being very, very compassionate. So time to time, sometimes people ask, okay, can you tell us some magic? Are there any magical feats, any wonders that happened in the past times? Mahaprabhu in the past times, so Krishna. So actually speaking, all past times are just full of magical narrations. So now, first of all, we hear that in South India, the Lord cured a leper. South India is a very pious land, and South India is also the birthplace of Bhakti. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear the narrations. Bhakti Devi herself is saying that I was born in South India. Then Bhakti became youthful as she traveled from South India to Maharashtra. And then in Gujarat, Bhakti Devi became fatigued. So this was the Gujarat. And amazingly, Gujarat is the place where Bhakti Devi became old. And her two sons, Gyan and Vairagya, also became old. So when Bhakti Devi travels to Vrindavan, as soon as she comes to Vrindavan, Bhakti personified, Bhakti Devi, she gains her youthful body. But her two sons, Gyan and Vairagya, they remain old and weak. So later on, Narad Muni arranges the narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam by the lotus mouths of Shanikadi rishis, Sanak Sanatan, Sanandan, Sanat Kumar. And as soon as the narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam begin, immediately Bhakti and her two sons, they gain their youthful forms. So it's magic. All pastimes of Krishna are magical. But nowadays, in current age, the Vedic culture, which was so much part of South India has been very rich in Vedic culture. All South Indian languages, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, they all have origin in Sanskrit. And Vedic culture was so prominent. But in Kali Yuga, that Vedic culture is being destroyed actually by so-called missionaries. So this is unfortunate. But we are going 500 years back when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled to South India. And Vedic culture was very, very prominent. The big temples and the priestly class, many of our acharyas, in fact, all the great acharyas, they came from South India. I'm saying all this, although I personally come from North India. So many great acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they all came from South India. So Mahaprabhu desired to go to South India. We see that this verse is beginning from the pastime that happened in South India, although Mahaprabhu hasn't started his travel yet. So then in the second verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami praised Mahaprabhu and his associate. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dutta Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ei mati sarvabhauma nistare korila dakshina gamane prabhur ichha upajila. This is how Mahaprabhu's South India tour begins. This is the preparation. Having delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, then Mahaprabhu desired to go to South India. So one day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached his devotees. And amongst his devotees, Nityananda Prabhu, Mukunda Datta, Jagadanand Pandit, they were some of the prominent devotees at that time. So they were there with Mahaprabhu. They had accompanied, Nityananda Prabhu had accompanied Mahaprabhu to Jagannath Puri. So Mahaprabhu approached his devotees and he said to them that your association is like more than my life and soul. So I cannot leave you. I can give up my life, but I cannot give up your association. And yet, in my mind, I want to go and find my brother, Vishrup, who took sannyas and went to South India. Vishrup took sannyas before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And according to some sources, when Nityananda Prabhu went to his travel to all the holy places of pilgrimage, so some sources say that Vishrup merged into Nityananda Prabhu. He was known as a sannyasi called Shankarananda. And because Nityananda Prabhu is Adi Sankarshan, he is Balram. So Vishrup was an incarnation of Karanodakasaya Vishnu. So he was one of the Vishnu forms. The amazing thing is that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you find all the incarnations. Avatar Sara, Gora Avatar. The essence of all incarnations is Mahaprabhu. So you would find that so many personalities from Rama Leela, from Krishna Leela, and so many personalities from the Vaikuntha planet, they are all incarnating in Navadvip. In Chaitanya Leela, you find Advaita Acharya, the combined form of Lord Shiva, Sadashiva, and Mahavishnu. So Mahaprabhu's brother, Vishru, he was one of the Vishnu forms. So he merged into Nityanand Prabhu because Nityanand Prabhu is Balram. Brajendranandan Jai, Sachi Sutta Hoile Se, Balram Hoile Nitai. So Mahaprabhu, with the pretext of going and finding Vishrup, his brother, planned to go to South India. Although the Lord knew perfectly well that Vishrup had passed away. So some sources say that in Pandharpur, Vishrup merged into Nityanand in Pandharpur. But Mahaprabhu is saying that actually his brother went to South India. So he wants to go to South India. And then Mahaprabhu started speaking. There's a very beautiful description in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when you have opportunity, please read the verses and translations and purports. Very beautiful description. So Mahaprabhu started speaking as if he was complaining. He said, I'm completely bound by your love. And so far, I have seen that all of you are leading my life. I wanted to go to Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu is speaking to Nityanand Prabhu. And Nityanand Prabhu protested. He said, how is it that you want to go to South India, but you don't want to take any of us? So Mahaprabhu said, I want to go to South India, but I don't want to take anyone with me. I want to go alone. I'm a sannyasi. So Nityananda Prabhu protested, how is it that you want to go on your own? You can take at least two of us. That's your choice. You take any two of us. So at this point, Mahaprabhu started to speak as if he is complaining. First of all, he started with Nityananda. He said, I wanted to go to Vrindavan, but you led me to the house of Advaita Acharya. Then when I was in Advaita Acharya's house, my mother told me to come to Jagannath Puri, and on the way, you broke my danda, sannyas danda. And I cannot say anything to you because I'm bound by your love. Then I have this Jagadananda who wants me to do sense gratification, eat and live. But I'm a sannyasi. Mukunda Datta, he becomes unhappy if he sees me taking 3 times bath and sleeping on the floor. He doesn't speak to me for 3 days. So although he doesn't say anything, but I know he's unhappy and I don't want to make him unhappy. So I just do whatever he wants me to do. Then I have this brahmachari, Damodar brahmachari, who keeps a danda, a stick, and he wants to train me because he thinks that I'm just a neophyte sannyasi and I don't know the etiquettes. So I'm bound by all of you and I live in fear. So Mahaprabhu was speaking as if he was complaining. In another words, Prabhupada explains in the purport that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was expressing his complete satisfaction at the service and the love that his devotees expressed and gave him. So Mahaprabhu was acknowledging their love. Apparently, Mahaprabhu became angry with Nityananda Prabhu. Because Nityananda Prabhu broke his sannyas danda in 3 pieces and threw it in the river. And with that incident, Mahaprabhu became a bit angry. He said, I don't want to go with you. I want to go on my own. And this is how Mahaprabhu left when they were on their way to Jagannath Puri. So Dandabanga River. So at this point, Nityananda Prabhu said that we are simply your instrument. Whatever you order, this is what we will follow. But please, let me say this to you. You have Gopin and Bahirvas, loincloth and sannyas cloth to carry. Then you have water pot as a sannyasi. So these are your possessions. But during the day, you're always chanting with your 2 hands, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So it appears that actually Mahaprabhu chanted on his hands. He did not use a mala as often. Now, sometimes people say that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He chanted Krishna's names, he chanted prayers, but not particularly Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So there is explanation given by our acharyas, particularly Rupa Goswami, which proves that Mahaprabhu chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra alongside other prayers, other names of Krishna, like Krishna, 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 Krishna He, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav Rakshma. So Mahaprabhu chanted these prayers. Mahaprabhu also chanted other prayers like Hari, Hari Haraye Namaha, Krishna Yadavaye Namaha, Gopale Govinda Ram Madhusudan. So Mahaprabhu also chanted Hari Haraye Namaha, Krishna Yadavaye Namaha, Gopal Govinda Ram Madhusudan. So sometimes people say that Mahaprabhu did not particularly chant Mahamantra. So I'm just going to read some of the evidence that we see from our acharyas, like Srila Rupa Goswami. So here it is. Tumar dui hasta baddha nama ganani jal patra bahirvas vahivukimana. Since your 2 hands will always be engaged in chanting and counting the holy names, how will you be able to carry the water pot and external garments? So in the purport, Prabhupada has given the quotations from Rupa Goswami, and this quotation is from Pratham Chaitanyastak. Rupa Goswami has written Chaitanyastak. So this is the quotation from there. There's another quotation from Chaitanya Chandramrit Natak. So I'm just going to read two quotations. Badhanam prema bhara prakampita karagrantham kati dorakahi sankhyatum nij lok mangala Hare Krishneti Nam Nam Japam. So there is a very clear indication here from Chaitanya Chandramrit Natak that Mahaprabhu chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra on his fingers. Although the Lord chanted other mantras, like we mentioned earlier on. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted Mahamantra regularly, and particularly Sankhya Purva. Other one is from Rupa Goswami. Hare Krishneti Uchchai Spirit Rasno Namno Garuna Rasno Nam Ganana Kritigranthi Shreni So Bhaga Kati Sutrujala Karaha. So again, this is mentioning that Hare Krishna iti Uchchahi Spirit. So Mahaprabhu chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly. These are evidences. And in the purport, Prabhupada makes it a point that in Krishna consciousness movement, we chant 16 rounds, which is almost 28,000 names of Krishna. Although other acharyas like Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur chanted 300,000 names. Similarly, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he chanted 2 lakhs names, 200,000 names. He would get up at 2 o'clock and he would chant until 9 o'clock. So our acharyas have set example, but Prabhupada makes it clear that in Hare Krishna movement, we have prescribed number of rounds, 16 rounds. So as long as we can chant these 16 rounds and then do service throughout the day, then we are situated in spiritual platform and will be saved from the onslaughts of Maya. Sankhya Purvak Nama Gananati Kalavasani Krito Nidrahar Viharika Divijito Chatintijino Chayo. So we find that Sad Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, they chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra Sankhya Purvak. They counted. So Sankhya Purvak Nam Gan Natvihi Kalavasani Krito. So they spend their time chanting Sankhya Purvak Nam. So Sankhya Purvak Nam is important. Sometimes people say, when you ask them to chant, they say, yeah, we chant all the time. Some people also put forward some false argument. They say, why you people are actually putting a number against the holy name. Holy name should be chanted all the time. Yeah, fine. It should be chanted all the time. But our acharyas and Mahaprabhu himself has shown that name should be chanted Sankhya Purvak. So Mahaprabhu used to chant with one hand. So in our hand, we have these 12 components, 3 components in each fingers. So 12 components, and we use one finger to chant. So 12 times 9 makes 1 round, 108. So Mahaprabhu chanted like that and counted like that. Nityananda Prabhu used this argument. He said, you're going to chant with one hand and count with another hand. So how will you carry water pot, loincloth, copy, and your Bahirvas, sannyas cloth. Therefore, dear Lord, we pray, we request you to at least take one devotee. This simple brahmachari, Krishnadas, he will go with you. Mahaprabhu agreed. Then he went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to take his permission. When Bhattacharya heard that Mahaprabhu was about to leave for South India tour, he almost became unconscious. He said to the Lord, my dear Lord, by some good fortune in my previous lives, I attained your lotus feet. Now you are telling me that you want to go to South India and leave us all alone. I can bear the pain if somebody told me that my son died. I can bear the pain of thunderbolt striking my head, but I cannot bear the pain to hear the news that you want to go out of our sight. So Mahaprabhu said to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya the same argument. He said, my brother went to South India and I want to go and find Vishnu. So Bhattacharya said that you are independent personality of Godhead. You will always do what you want to do. But I pray, I request, I beg you to please not go immediately. Just stay for a few days. So Mahaprabhu stayed. He agreed to stay for a few days. So after a few days, with the permission of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Now here we see that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is taking permission from his devotees. So this is his Bhakta Vatsalya. His very loving dealings with his devotees. Time to time Mahaprabhu mentions, time to time, he's never tired of saying to his devotees that you are more dear to me than my own life. When you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll see these kind of statements. Mahaprabhu spares no chance where he tells his devotees that you are dear to me more than my own life. Just like Krishna, the Supreme Lord, told Uddhava that Lord Shiva, who is my greatest devotee, is not as dear to me. Lakshmi, my own consort, is not as dear to me. My own is dear to me as you are. So this is the glory of the devotees, that when they love the Lord with all their hearts, the Supreme Lord reciprocates with them beyond their imagination. So here the Lord is reciprocating with Bhattacharya, Nityanand Prabhu, Jagadanand Pandit, Mukunda Datta, and all the devotees in Puri, asking their permission. And when Bhattacharya requests not to go for a few days, he follows his request. Yeah. So now Bhattacharya agreed. He said he would go, and then Mahaprabhu went to Jagannath temple to get permission from Lord Jagannath. As soon as Mahaprabhu prayed to Lord Jagannath that I want to go to South India, please give me your permission. Immediately, a pujari came with the garland of Lord Jagannath and Mahaprasad. The Supreme Lord then circumambulated the Pradakshina of Jagannath temple, and now he was about to go. Nityanand Prabhu and other devotees followed him up to Alalnath, because Mahaprabhu took the pathway of the sea. So from the seashore, Mahaprabhu went to Alalnath, and Nityanand Prabhu and other devotees followed him. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya called his brother-in-law Gopinath Acharya and said to him that please prepare 4 sets of kopi in Bahirvas and some Jagannath Prasad to be taken by Mahaprabhu. You can bring some, take help from Brahmanas who can carry this for you. So Mahaprabhu now leaves for South India. As soon as Sarvam Bhattacharya saw the Lord leaving his sight, he fainted. But then Mahaprabhu did not pay any attention. Similarly, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Shantipur, his devotees were crying their hearts. Many of them fainted. His own mother was there, who felt as if her life was going away from her. But once Mahaprabhu decided to go, he went, and then he did not look behind or care what happens. So Mahaprabhu loves his devotees, but he is also the Supreme Lord, full in all opulences, including Vairagya. So once he wants to go, he wants to go, and he did not look back. So this is how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Jagannath Puri for his South India tour. We'll hear further narrations in subsequent sessions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Raghupati Prabhu. So thank you so much for that nice background preparation that you've done today. Amazing, amazing. Number of wonderful points you brought up about Bhakti Devi, and also how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted the names of, actually chanted Hare Krishna mantra on fingers. And also he had done, he did Sankhya Purvaka. So he was chanting a fixed number of rounds every day. And, he took permission from the devotees to go to South India. So I had seen many times in temples when devotees want to go on yatra, they will just inform the devotees as well. Many times I've seen. So it's nice, nice way to take permission as well as the blessings. Thank you so much for that wonderful background. We really appreciate your beautiful singing and presenting the things very nicely. So for devotees, has anybody got any questions or any comments? I've got a couple of announcements to make. So Sumadhur Radhikumataji says, thanks for the blissful class. Excellent bhajan as well. Madhav Kumar Prabhu, yes, any comments you want to make?
Hare Krishna, Raghupati Prabhu, thank you so much for the wonderful narration. It was very, very sweet. From your confirmation on the Sankhya Purvak chanting, I remember the past time we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, the Lakheshwara story where Mahaprabhu insists that I will only go to that person's house who chants 1 lakh names. So yes, it is confirmed that apart from the quality, there was definitely emphasis on the quantity of chanting as well. So thanks for reinforcing that. And the other wonderful aspect you shared was about the loving dealings. And these were some of the dealings that I had not heard about. Lord taking permission, and very often in our upbringing, we are made to or advised to fear the Lord. Do this, that will happen, or don't do this, this will happen. And here we are in the Bhakti movement where such loving aspects of the Lord's personality are being presented in a variety of ways. And Mahaprabhu being the Sarvashiromani, sum of all incarnations. These are such amazing, wonderful points you very kindly shared. So thank you for that. I was listening, and I think the next 2 sessions are not to be missed because we're looking forward to some more interesting pastimes narrated by you so sweetly. I just wanted to mention that there is all this and more in the 11,000 verses of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we have these books available at special devotee prices. There are a set of 9 books by Krishnadas Kaviraj Thakur. Please feel free to reach out to us. We still have a few sets available. So every opportunity to access the mercy through these 11 pastimes. And yes, I'm sure devotees will be eager to attend the next 2 sessions. Can I just refer to the session tomorrow, Prabhu, now, or should we come back to that later?
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Yeah, otherwise carry on. Please do mention that session.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Okay. Just for all the devotees who are present, and we've been doing announcements. Tomorrow onwards, we're starting a 5-session workshop hosted by His Grace Shubha Vilash Prabhu. He's a well-known established authority on the subject of Ramayana and taking practical lessons from the Vedas. So it's starting tomorrow. Registrations are still open. They'll continue till the workshop is on every Saturday in the month of July, 10 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, if you want to know how to practically apply the knowledge from the Vedas, please register and join. It's a wonderful opportunity to hear more. And your contributions that you will make, some donations, are going towards supporting cow protection projects in India, and some of it will be used to distribute Shastra on your behalf. So wonderful opportunity to really, as they say, kill 3 birds with 1 stone. Not just acquire knowledge, but do cow protection and also do Shastra Dan. So opportunity is on every Saturday, 10 a.m. In the month of July. Please feel free to register and join in and encourage us as well. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, Madhav Kumar Prabhu, for that announcement about the special workshop beginning from tomorrow. So that needs registration. Other announcements. So Raghupati Prabhu will do 2 more sessions on this topic on 23rd Friday and 30th Friday. So there will be 2 more classes on the same series, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with South India's tour. Next Friday, we have a special day. It is the disappearance day of Gadadhar Pandit and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Raghupati Prabhu will give class on the glories of Gadadhar Pandit and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That's next Friday. And coming Sunday, it is the disappearance of Srivas Pandit. Radha Mohan Prabhu will be giving a class on the glories and pastimes of Srivas Pandit Thakur. So that is on Sunday. And every month, first Saturday, we meet up in the morning and we have been discussing a character, a devotee from Srimad Bhagavatam. So this month, we will be discussing Prithu Maharaj, King Prithu. Is a partial incarnation of the Supreme Lord and as well as the great devotee of the Lord. So we can learn so many wonderful lessons. So that will be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on Zooms, same Zoom. That class will be given by Rajendra Lal Prabhu. That's it from my side. So we shall see you all tomorrow. So Madhav Kumar Prabhu, anything else?
Yeah, I was just going to say that these workshops are not just for adults. Anybody in the family, including children in primary school, year 5, year 6 onwards, 13, 14 years, can attend. And the whole family can attend on one registration. So there are takeaways for everybody in the household. So feel free to sign up and join us and encourage us and take benefit. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
jai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari,
Hari Hari Bol.
Bol,
Jai.
Bol Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai,
Jai.
His Grace Raghupati Prabhu ki jai,
Jai.
jai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bol.